Alright, we're back. Back to what I presume is Zach. Going to the party? Housewarming thing? I don't know. The melody carries into the hall long before I cross the threshold. Solemn but gentle and soothing, a reminder of what home is. Pa's firm but meaningful gaze, Ma's wistful smiles, the warm rays filtering through the eaves at sunset, the distinct smell of wet earth and leaves after a long day's rain, in our room. The room. Ma and Pa's pride and joy, a place we were once promised several springs ago. Yet it won't stop.
No, wait! Come back! I'll be good this time! Please don't leave! Please stay!
The floorboards are cold under my feet more than it usually is, the walls more forbidding than what I'm used to. Farther and farther the room goes. Ma's singing ceases and Pa can't hear Pa. Not about the raucous clanging and deafening roars of gunshots, nor the screams replacing the comforting soft melodies. It's only the blinding fear. When the light breaks, her skin has already taken a sickly pale color, rotten in most parts, blood dripping from every open gash and lesion on her body. Bony hands gripped Hannah's neck like a noose, staining the skin underneath with a vibrant shade of scarlet. Nothing but malice fills the gleam in her eyes. A scream ripples through the air. My whole body feels distant. Every limb heavy with lead, all unable to move at will. Not even so I can wipe the beads of sweat forming at my temple. The rasping of my breath easily fills the room in the wee hours, while I force it back into a steady rhythm. There's a tightness in my chest I can't shake off, my heart pounding against it, as if it's about to burst. Something cold has settled down my legs. Not the usual chill that comes and goes with passing breeze from the window, but one strong enough to sting, shackle, and leave a frigid sensation creeping up my skin. Every struggle I make, pressure winds firmly around my legs. Tighter, and tighter, and tighter, all until it becomes too much. Snoop Cybot. My heart stops. Another draft sweeps into the room and brings with it the iron tang of blood. Thick, suffocating, filling my nose with a foul, sickening smell as I shift my gaze downwards and it slowly comes into view. Mouth stretched in a hideous smile, and eyes brimming with nothing but madness. The stench of gore taints the air around me, and I can't look away. From it, her, from the terror and death that her uncanny, twisted features alone scream. I try to open a mouth, to shout, to ask for any help, but my voice has left my body altogether. All I have is the painful realization that no kind of plea will ever save me from her. Then suddenly, the bed dips. And the brutal plunge back into myself jerks me awake. There's no ear-splitting scream, no wild thrashing of limbs, just a painful, constricting awareness that something has wound itself tightly around my neck. I waste no second pulling it, a blanket away, but allow myself a few minutes to steady my breathing before getting off the bed. Inhale, hold, exhale, square breathe. 1 step, 2 steps, 3. But the dreams have gotten worse. Ever since 2 days ago, no longer are they the small, cursory flashes that I'm used to, but vivid ones that linger. I can still feel the blood in my hands, the putrid smell of rotting flesh, the sickening crunch of bones breaking with every movement, and her cold, chilling eyes as they bore into me. I draw in one long, ragged breath, and before I know it, I'm walking out the door. Even in the waking world, it reeks. The bench in the park is far from the most private place for thoughts in Luxembourg, considering its location at the heart of a bustling city. But in the early hours of the morning, it provides enough peace and quiet for any problematic soul who happens to wander there. The city is just waking up, a little later than usual. But knowing what day it is, one can't fault it for being a little tardy just this once. Yet neither the pleasant morning chill nor the softening twittering of birds does anything to banish the images. Every single one has rooted itself in my head, its claws digging deep in what is no longer a safe place to hide in. It used to be easy.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge
Yeah, I'll let
is
you finish,
falling
kid.
down, my fair lady. Take a key and
All
lock
right,
him up.
I'll
lock
talk over
him
you.
up, lock him
It
up.
used to be easy,
Take a
finding some
key
pretense
and
of
lock
peace
him up,
under the guise of sheer
my
optimism,
fair lady.
following regular routine. Now?
London Bridge is falling
Now I don't know what to
down,
make of it.
falling down,
Sometimes it's easier to
falling
run,
down.
easier to
London
hide when
Bridge
everything's
is
falling apart.
down,
That way you don't have to be the
my
first to witness it when it
fair
does.
lady.
It worked when
Take a
things went
key
bad with the
and
movie
lock
after
him
all.
up, lock
It
him
also
up,
worked when Mom and Pa were
lock
taken
him
from
up.
us.
Take a
Maybe it
key
really is
and
better
lock
if I
him
just...
up. Hey, mister.
Why do you look like Rose? The tiny voice gives me a pause. When I look it up, a little girl, maybe about 6 or 7, is peering at me. Two wide eyes, overflowing what can only be the natural curiosity one typically sees in children. I vaguely note the St. Goretti uniform she's wearing before returning her greeting.
Hey kid.
Kylie.
Kylie?
That's my name. Mama said it's rude not to call people by their names.
She then flops down on the empty space beside me. Her little legs, still too short to touch the ground, swing in tune with a song she hums under her breath. I don't mind kids. Nana would often invite ones in our own old neighborhood to give them treats. Of course, by then, Sis and I were both too old to play with them, but you get used to the commotion eventually. It's not completely as unpleasant as most people would imply. Kylie seems to be a well-behaved kid anyway.
Oh, sorry. Nice to meet you, Kylie. Is Mama here?
No, but my big brother's with me. He's taking pictures with his camera over there.
She points to the far end of the park, the one closest to the street where a kid is taking shots of something above him. Doesn't look to be birds, because all there is on that side of the park are buildings.
I don't see what's so interesting with the tip of a building, though. I'd take pictures of dogs if I were him. They're cuter. Do you have a camera too, mister?
Yeah, I'm actually a photographer.
Mama said I'm too young to get a camera.
I'm sure your mama will eventually give you one. But won't you be late for school like this?
Big brother will get us there on time. Rowan promised Papa. We aren't going to be late. It's sports day. So it's not good if you keep looking like that today.
What?
If it ends up raining and we lose, it's your fault.
All right, I'll try not to upset the clouds today, kid.
Is it because you're sick, mister?
Before I know it, a smile is spread over my face. They say kids ask the toughest questions sometimes, and they sure do, with how sincere Kylie looks. Lying feels like doing her a huge disservice.
No, not sick. Just having a very, very bad day.
Why is that? Is that like when my big brother ate all of my pudding? He did that once and then cried. It wasn't very nice of him.
Yeah, I think so. You see, there's this mean girl. She's given my friends and I a lot of trouble. Hard to keep up when things are like that, you know? Especially when you can't do anything. It's kind of scary. Makes you wish things will just stay as peaceful as they used to be.
Maybe she just wants to be friends with you?
I highly doubt that. She already hurt one of my friends.
What if she's just sad? Or maybe she just wants help. That's what happened with Melody. I let her borrow my crayon when she left hers. Now we're playmates.
It's not really the same thing, Kylie. What she did, they're pretty bad things.
I still think there's another reason. Did you try talking to her? That's what Mama said I should do.
I don't think that'll work either.
Come on, you haven't even tried.
You haven't even tried
For real.
yet. You sound like Rowan. You're just scared, mister.
That strikes a chord. Maybe it's the honesty in her tone, or simply the truth in the words itself. I don't know why, but I can't help it. I laugh. Loud enough to disturb an elderly couple taking a leisure walk nearby.
Why are you laughing?
That's nothing. You're a really smart kid, you know that?
That's what I've been doing, ain't it? Go full speed ahead and then backtrack when the going gets tough. Stay in my safe zone because that's what I know. Once, Dr. Navarro said I should be the first one willing to deal with all my problems before anyone else. I didn't show up on her next appointment after that. But he's right. And though I hate to admit it, knowing what I've seen, but the kid makes a good point too. I've been so caught up in thinking there might not be a way out. Maybe there isn't, or maybe there is, but that doesn't mean I should leave it up to fate. Aren't spirits supposed to be humans before too? Had people they cared about, lived a life of their own, smiled and laughed like the rest of us? Do they really lose all of it after death?
You better get to school, though, or you'll miss sports day. You should have won yourself some awards, alright?
Alright. Can I show it to you when I do? That can cheer people up, right?
In the distance, her brother calls for her, and I took that as a sign to leave. Got things to do, to face. The first few steps, they say.
Nah, I'm good now, I think. Thanks to you. Besides, Mister needs to go. But you should show it to Mama and Papa. I'm sure they'll be proud of you, Kylie.
I will. Thanks, mister. Bye.
I give her a little pat on the head before heading my way. Small gesture of thanks from a stranger she didn't know she might have helped. She may not understand it now, even though at such a young age she already has this understanding of things, but maybe when she's older. when the world no longer seems too big for her.
But aren't you going to help me, mister?
With what?
Confused, I glanced back. Whatever cheer our little talk has brought had vanished under the shadows suddenly dancing in my eyes. This frigid air is most definitely not how the morning chill should feel, like bitter, stinging, unwelcoming. And the kid,
What do you think, mister? Are you going to help me?
What do you want from us?
the response never comes, however, because when I blinked, gone.
Hello? Mister? Are you okay?
For several passing seconds, I let my stare linger on her face, waiting for any sign of another change. But all that remains in there is a carefree smile of a child, none of the spite, none of the cold, bloody smile.
Nothing, huh? I really need to go, Kylie. It was nice meeting you.
See you again, mister!
I break into a run. I don't look back, not even as I bump into a couple of passerbys as soon as I'm out of the busy streets. Going insane, that's what this is. If we don't do something soon, we all will be. The tremors follow me even as I get home. I'd hoped a little stroll around the block a few hours would help. Instead, I am assaulted with more images of her, her smile, the loathing in her eyes, the stench of gore, the horrid crunch that comes with every movement she makes. Even old memories have been sullied by her, and Ma's song is no longer as sweet as it meant to be. In the end, all I got is a stinking feeling that I'll never be rid of her image, or another ridiculous idea that may or may not even work. The sun is already hanging low on the horizon when I make it back, and for the first time, coming home feels more like a chore. Only I didn't arrive to an empty room. Because as soon as I open the door, I'm greeted none other than...
Sup, Z-Man?
I told you we should have called him before going here.
It's fine.
It is Ashton I see first, sitting comfortably on my couch, munching on a bag of chips with both feet propped atop the coffee table. Whenever proverbial stone has made a home at the pit of my stomach, automatically flies right out the window at the sight of him. But before any exasperation could set in, my attention is taken by the other occupant in the room. Isabella perches on the only other chair in the room, attempting to make herself smaller, it seems, from how closely she's hugging her arms against hers. Nevertheless, she gives me a small smile when she notices my stare. Yet somehow, there ain't any warmth in it like it's supposed to have.
Hey, Zach. Sorry we just barged in here. Ash was...
Relax. Z-Man gave me a copy of the key himself.
Only after you broke the 13th one? I can't keep replacing them every time you think it'd be a good idea to break into my apartment. And stop calling me Z-Man!
I didn't break anything this time.
Ash, just because I gave you a key doesn't mean you can just stroll in here whenever you want to. And, hey, is that my...
Ash smirks at me because, of course, he has the gall to smirk knowing that he did what he did. He pops in what's very likely the last piece of chip into his mouth and folds the wrapper neatly on the table before throwing it on the nearby trash. From her chair, Isabella shoots me an apologetic smile as soon as the foil hits the waste bin with a dull thunk. Common sense dictates that I should be angry, but after everything, having something normal play out in front of me, no matter how childish their antics can get, I can't bring myself to muster even a tidbit of it. Behind me, the television starts blaring the music for the end credits of a movie. I've likely been waiting for a while, if Ash has gotten impatient enough to rummage through my cupboards and watch something.
Of course he eats all of it. You know, I was saving that for the weekend. Did you at least share some with Bella?
Don't worry about it. I'm good, Zach.
Really? It's free food, you know? What was that you usually say? You don't say no to free food? What happened?
No, I'm just not hungry.
Ash only shrugs at the question in my eyes. I can't be the only one who finds this vibe she's giving off to be odd, and the guy has no doubt already caught wind of it.
Aye. But if you want something, just say so. I've got a fully restocked pantry right here at your disposal. Still not a 5-star level thing, but for an empty stomach, it'd do.
There's a 3-star Michelin yesterday.
Just say the word.
Thanks, Zach. Maybe next time. Food is not really what we came here for. Ash, he's the one who...
She casts a brief glance at Ash, and in an instant he sits up. Every trace of amusement is gone from his face as he clasps his hand in front of him and leans forward. A minuscule gesture meant to ease, yet the grim expression on him tells a different story altogether.
All right, you two, what's this about? I don't like those looks. What I said was weird, I'm aware of that. But I'm not taking it back. Isabella's not the only one here who's seen it.
A short but tense pause follows. They're both stalling. Under normal circumstances, I'd wait. With these two, the more you force it, the more they'll clamp down on it. But as a handful of seconds continue to slip by, the unsettling feeling in me also grows with it. Soon, it turns into impatience. Before I can demand a response, though, one of them finally speaks up. It is Ashton who finally breaks it.
I'm not asking you to. No, you're right. There really are some odd things going on here lately.
How is everything with you lately, Zach?
Hold on, Ash. Both of you. Did I just hear you say that? Is this why Isabella's here? Has something happened?
Calm down, we're just here to check on things. So, did you meet Andrew about the photos?
What photographs?
Said photographs have been sitting untouched since the day I dumped them into my drawer. Isabella goes very still when I hand her the small stack. To her credit, she does not flinch like I'm expecting her to, and flips through each in silence. But while her eyes remain strangely calm, her hands have gone rigid and her mouth is set into a thin line. She, out of all people, understands what this means. In hindsight, she should have been the one I approached before Ash.
What did Andrew say about them?
It could be one, but there's no guarantee it's a supernatural thing. It doesn't always happen. So, that's a dead end right there. Now that I think about it, bothering that guy for this feels pretty silly now. But with the dreams lately...
That's all? Did he say anything about the damn letter at all? Did you ask him even?
I pause, glancing at him skeptically. I don't know where this sudden curiosity is coming from. I mean, he probably saw something. But if Ashton, calm, cool, collected, always logical, Ashton, takes interest in this, something or someone must have fucked shit up somewhere. Or the world is ending. Seconds pass. The apocalypse I'm expecting to go along with it doesn't arrive, however.
Yeah, that's really everything. The letter kind of slipped my mind. The photos were more important at that time. There was some stuff about the local horror stories, though. Talked about the curses, and he was really fascinated with the story about a wraith asking for a sacrifice to move on. Kinda nasty if you ask me, but it does make sense if you simply go along with it. I'm not sure how this will help in the grand scheme of things. Why are you asking about this anyway?
Rose's death isn't just a coincidence, Zach. It may have something to do with... I may have...
Wait, stop right there for a sec, Bella. I thought you ain't buying this stuff, Ash. Just the other day, you said the exact same thing.
I still don't, but even Rebecca, out of all people, claims there's something. Whatever this is, someone has got to look into it. Everything about this screams shady.
Are you sure you even have the time? Ain't you busy with your current case?
I got taken off that one.
You didn't say you were taken off your case.
I just got the news this morning. Apparently the higher-ups think I'm doing a horrendous job at it. It doesn't matter though. If these two cases are connected like I initially thought, then regardless, I'm on the right track.
Are you sure we should even be doing this?
Doing what exactly?
There's some place we'll visit after this.
Too vague for comfort, Ash. And please don't tell me you're bringing her with you.
His affirmation comes in the form of a stare, but that alone says all I needed to know. What I pointed out gives him pause, and though his voice is thick with hesitation when he addresses Isabella.
You know what? Zach's right, Isabella. You don't have to come with me.
It's not myself I'm worried about. It's you. I'll just do this myself, if it'll get you into more trouble with your superiors. At least I can make up an excuse why I need to be there.
Don't be ridiculous. You're not walking in there without me. Besides, I think it's a little too late to back out now. Have you two seen the news this morning?
I haven't, actually. Mama called, and I was busy.
Change in the air around her, while small, could not have gone unnoticed, and it takes every willpower not to ask. Oh, Dad died. Probably the only thing reigning in my curiosity is the fact that Ash himself haven't brought it up either.
No problem. It should be in the afternoon news as well.
He grabs the remote and cycles through numerous channels until he gets to a news report about another guy who's been found dead in the early hours of the morning today. Burned alive this time. Oddly, no fire has spread and whatever damage has been contained within the place the body was found. The room itself, however, has been completely vandalized. Help me. Help me. Help me. Another murder, the authorities claimed. Isabella and I knew better. None of us shifts even after the report ends, but the room has suddenly felt stifling. Ash's eyes have gone hooded with what appears to be a restrained anger, and the remote in his hand creaks mildly under his grip. The stone is back in my stomach. A tiny little thing gripping at my insides, growing with every passing second as the dread sinks in. In the thick of it, Isabella's voice is the one that breaks the hush. A small, weak thing on its own that wavers unevenly between words, but every syllable heavy with meaning.
This is because of that thing, isn't it? I did this somehow.
When it fades, all that's left in the air is her doubt and fear, while all we can do is to cope. Is there something I can say to make her feel better? I mean, we can fix this, right? Let's see. We're doing pretty good with Isabella right now. We can
It
fix
ain't
this.
too late. We could still fix this.
Yeah, that's
There's
right.
3
Oh,
of us
me and
here.
Ash almost maxed out.
4 if you count Rebecca.
No, she's staying away from this.
Is she even on this list? Okay, she is. She lifts her gaze at me, eyes steady and shoulders squared as she holds it against the baffled look I give her. Although in the next second, it immediately softens and takes me by surprise nevertheless. In those brief moments, it's like I faced a different person.
I don't want to involve her in this any more than I already have. Both of you as well.
I already said it. That's completely out of the question. Stop asking.
Still in all, that's 2 extra heads who can do the thinking. Between us 3, I'm sure we'll figure something out pretty soon.
Don't make this whole thing sound like it's a piece of cake to deal with.
It ain't. But better than sitting around, yeah? Plan is still a plan.
You're going to shoot yourself in the foot one day with that kind of thinking. We don't even know who's doing this. The last 2 murders might just be similar incidents done by 2 different suspects.
Hasn't stopped you from going after them before. Remember that time when you...
Okay, stop right there. There will be no retelling of that incident today, Z-Man. Or ever.
Keep calling me Z-Man and maybe I will.
Suddenly, Isabella laughs. Though muffled by her hands, it rings light and easy against the thick tension in the room. Still a far cry from the usual cheer she carries, but brings a welcome shift in the otherwise dreary mood.
Thanks, you two.
I'll tell you about it when he's not around.
Give it up, Z-Man. She's not interested.
Who says I'm not?
Ash makes a face, but chuckles at the jest despite himself.
Why am I even friends with you two?
And like this, most of her worries ebb away, if only for a few moments. They take their leave mere minutes close to sundown. Aren't they going to the right mission? But regardless of the lighter mood, little has been said of their plans, only vague hints of what they're aiming to do after. Well, it ain't my business to know. Something about this whole thing still gnaws at me. A tiny passing thought urges me to do something as well. At this hour, the streets are once again busy with people heading home after a hard day's work. Little of the bustle matters to them as they step out to the crowded walkway, however. Ash, especially. There's only his goal in mind, and I wager there's nothing I can do to stop him at this point. He's probably decided on it long before they made a decision to stop by. But despite this, Isabella lags behind. A worried crease is back on her forehead as she watches Ash leave to get to his car.
Something wrong, Bella?
No, actually, can you check on Becca for me after this? I really didn't get the chance to tell her where I'm headed off to. Tell her I'm okay and no, just that. That's all.
You sure I should skip on that part? If she finds out about this, she'll be angry. I don't really want to deal with angry Rebecca. It gives me a stomachache just thinking about it.
Neither do I, but I'll handle it if she gets mad. Just make sure she's safe and tell her to be careful. You too. Take care of yourself.
Almost abruptly, she pauses, the gaze in her eyes hardening as she lapses into another one of those long, distant silences from earlier. This ain't just because of the whole fiasco with the letter anymore.
I don't want what happened to Rose to happen to you guys as well.
This one cut deeper. Before I can ask about it, Ashton returns, casually swinging his car keys on one hand and gestures at Isabella.
Come on, we don't have much time. Shirley's waiting.
Who's sure? Oh, right. Don't answer that. I don't want to hear it, you huge dork.
Says the person who gave her stuffed toys names. Batcat? Really?
It's cute. Yours is just weird. I'll see you later, Zach.
She spares me another smile, and as I watch her walk off, only now did it occur to me that none of those she gave today ever did reach her eyes. I make a grab for the back of Ash's parka. He staggers briefly before correcting himself and shooting me a confused stare.
Is she all right?
What? Who's okay?
Isabella. She's been, I don't know, out of it today? Did something happen earlier?
The scowl on his face says it all.
She's actually been like that this morning. I'll ask, but...
Just do me a favor and watch over her. We have no idea what we're dealing with. I don't know what happened to her since the last time I saw her, but from how she's been doing today, whatever it is, seems like a pretty big deal. Wait, you didn't annoy her again, did you? Because I swear to God, if you did, you've got another thing coming for you.
What? No, why would I? Just so you know, I already apologized for the one at the movie house. Granted, she deserved more of an apology, but I meant it that time.
I'm just asking. I'll take your word for it. But if you can find out what's bothering her, that'd be nice. Honestly, I don't think it's the letter this time.
I'll see what I can do.
Make sure you keep yourself out of harm's way, alright?
Yeah, you too. Don't do anything reckless again.
Reckless, no. But I can't make you to promise I won't do anything. After seeing that, there's no way in hell I'm going to pretend there ain't a problem when there is. This is a really big one, and I'll be damned if I let anything happen to you guys while I sit here. I'm done running when things get tough.
He's about to argue for a moment, but...
Look, bro, if things ain't good, I'll be the first one out.
Oops.
But allow me this one thing, alright? Just this one time. If it doesn't work out, you'll be the first one to know. You can laugh then, or berate me all you want. But please don't ask me to step aside like I'm incapable of doing anything to help.
Doing this. I have no idea if it's the look on my face or the tone of my voice. Ultimately, though, his mouth presses into a thin line and he nods.
All right, stay safe, Zach.
When he stumbles into the sidewalk and allows the afternoon crowd to swallow him whole, I like to think the tiny gleam in his eyes is the closest we can get to optimism in this situation. Whether that alone will be enough to give me a peaceful sleep tonight remains to be said. Night falls, and despite my best attempts, sleep continues to elude me. With their image stuck in my head, flashing every few moments, it catches me off guard, with Ma's lullaby still echoing in my ears, no longer the soft tune it once was. And the terrible gnawing at the pit of my stomach, it's no wonder I can't bring myself to drift off even for a little while. It's not as if there's a complete lack of things to do while waiting for sleep to come, if it ever will. And at 2:45 in the morning, I find myself cleaning my photography equipment for no other reason than just to pass time. Though I'm going to be honest, it's not the night terrors that are keeping me wide awake tonight, but the anxiety and the hope I'll hear from Ash or Isabella soon. And for what's perhaps the 42nd time, my eyes shift over to the end of the table where my phone lies still. I've not heard from them since they left. They haven't promised to call, of course, but a small part of me wishes they would have common sense, at the very least. Winning is a tough game, with the concern stretching out the minutes and far longer than usual. It's impossible for more unpleasant thoughts not to enter my mind. Moreover, it does not help that when the clock finally strikes 3, my hand stills. It'll be a complete and utter lie to say my heart didn't leap straight to my throat in that brief second. My whole body has gone motionless, ears straining for any further sounds. A couple of 10 seconds pass. Nothing. Of course, with how old the building I'm staying in, power fluctuations ain't anything new. Every now and then this would happen, leaving a few tenants in a rather bad mood. Nothing unusual anymore after a few years of living here. But this time, the sudden hush brings with it a stillness that raised the hair at the back of my neck. It sets my heart beating hard against my chest. Something reeks in the air, and in an instant, this place is no longer home. It's a prison. Every rational fiber in my being screams at me to leave. I force myself to swallow and keep a clear head as I lay down my cleaning tools and begin gathering together the rest of my things scattered on the table. The camera's body, lenses, filters, diffuser, phone, anything my hand could reach, but in the resulting panic like in the nightmares, it is the scent that reaches me first, a foul, putrid smell filling my lungs with the heavy stink of death. My fingers clamp tightly to the camera, holding it closer to my body, as if the tiny thing would provide enough protection to whatever is with me in the room. It won't, but it's the only comfort I have. And knowing that whoever she is, she had once been human. Perhaps not all of it is gone. Perhaps some of it is still in there.
Hello? I know you're in here. What do you want?
Something moves behind me, a soft scuttling over the walls, followed by the squelch and painful creaking that can only be rotten flesh and broken bones. Without hesitation, I wheel around, my fingers and camera ready, patiently waiting for another movement.
I can help you. Whatever it is that keeps you here, I can help. That's what the letter's for, ain't it? You don't have to keep taking people's lives.
was a brief moment of silence after, and for a short while, I think my pleas worked. Then, with no warning, the shuffling resumes, and along with it are the sobs of a woman. Use mouse to look around. Okay. Light flashes fleetingly one last time, allowing me a glimpse at her grotesque, misshapen features before it was once again lost in the darkness. All of a sudden, her tune changes, no longer a soft cry, but a high-pitched shriek brimming with pain, grief, and anger. Every ounce of courage I mustered flees from my body at the sound, and the next thing I know, my hand is gripping the knob and I'm wrenching the door open. Her wails follow me as I flee into the night. Pacing has always been more of an Ashton's thing than mine. When I went to think, I sit and let the minutes tick by until an idea comes to my mind or my pulse settles down. And yes, dried leaves and twigs crack under my shoes as I make another pass at them. Terror is too mild to describe what this is. There's no way in hell I'm going back. Whatever she is, pleading won't work. The moment we saw the letter, she's been after us.
But I can't run. Not this time.
Nearly 2 hours have gone by since I left my comfort of my room for the solitude of the park. 2 excruciating hours since I've started making calls. No one's answering. Not even Rebecca, who has always kept her phone line open in case other people need her. Or Isabella, who frequently checks for any messages and readily responds as soon as she can afford. It does not help that Ash has not said a word where he went off to as well.
Damn it! I knew I should have asked him before I let him leave.
I could guess. Knowing him, he can be anywhere. But there's really only one place he'll likely be at this time. The sun has already peaked over the horizon when I make it to the mansion. I have no idea what I'm expecting to see once I get here. There's Ashton, first and foremost. Part of me wishes my assumptions are correct and he's really somewhere close by on a stakeout. But I've never been the lucky sort when it comes to that kind of guessing. And even after I made a round of the immediate vicinity, I could find neither hide nor hair of him. Calling him does no good either, considering how awful the signal is here. He can't be too far if he's really here, but if he is, he would have already noticed me by now. Instead, there is only silence. The kind too quiet to find any sort of comfort in. Even the trees seem to have fallen asleep with the rest of the mansion, oblivious to what's happening around, a small island of stillness in the otherwise fast-paced world. No wonder the whole of Anselm feels at odds with the rest of Luxembourg. The city is alive, growing every minute, breathing every second, and pulsating with a life, the village remains unmoving. Unchanged. It's not surprising the legend still lives up to this day, and why she's still here, walking its hallowed halls. And beyond me, the mansion looms ominously. But now ain't the time for fear. Even if Ash is not here, I've still got to let the Wrights know what I've seen, what's in their home. And whatever grievance Ash has with them doesn't matter. There might be grounds for imprisonment, but they don't deserve a brutal death at the hands of one malicious spirit. And I'm sure Isabella would want the same thing. I head straight for the door without a second thought. It takes a few rings, but the sound loud above the foreboding stillness before I hear a footstep on the other side.
God and Bennett, only a Nancy would knock at such an ungodly hour. Where's that damn butler when I need him?
Uh-oh. Before long, the door swings widely open, with Mr. Luke Wright standing behind it. Seething would be a complete understatement to describe him, with his black aura. Like this, I've got no doubt why Ash would find him a suspect.
You? How the hell did you get in here? What in 7 hells do you want? It's bloody 6 in the morning!
Listen, sir, I know this is not a good time.
Oh, it's not a good time. Did you even check the clock before coming here? I bet you didn't. Unlike you, the ones living in this house need to sleep. Come back when people are actually awake, or I'll call security on you.
Before he can get a word in, he slams the door to my face and bolts it shut with much finality.
Wait, sir, you gotta hear me out. You're both in danger if you stay in there. Have you seen the news lately? Everything's not a coincidence.
Only silence answers me. Maybe if it was Mrs. Wright. Oh, who am I kidding? There are limits to how far a person will believe in you. Then again, I didn't believe Isabella when she warned us. And now I'm here, desperately trying to save people, even if I'm aware it's completely out of my own capacity to do so. Is this what they call karma? If so, this is one horrible way of turning things around. taking people's lives, playing with people's fears, making them feel useless.
You're around, ain't you? You here? Inside this house? Listening, watching, or whatever it is that you spirits do? What did they do to you? I can help you, you know? If it'll let you move on, I'll gladly do so. You don't have to kill anyone.
Nothing. I don't even know who I'm talking to, or if a sane person is supposed to be doing that. The only thing I got after is a feeling of foolishness washing over me. Or perhaps this is just me losing my mind. Out of the other options and any other ideas, I let my hand slide off the door's surface and fall listlessly to my sides. I can go back to Luxborn. I can try to find the others, try to get out of this mess with them, or let them know how much deep shit we all are. Both sound good. Either way, my loitering here isn't helping at all. I let the quietness calm me for a few minutes before standing up and heading out to fetch my bike. It's quite a distance to Luxborn, but if I hurry, I'll reach it in maybe... The rustling stops as soon as I turn around and strain my ears of any other movement around me.
Yo, Ash, you there?
No answer. If he is here, and I've just missed him earlier, already my feet are moving in search of him for a second time. It won't hurt to double check. Triple check, even. With how big the property is, he can be anywhere. If things ain't so urgent, if they ain't so dire that lives are at stake, I'd probably just have to wait for him to show up again.
But damn it! He needs to realize what exactly it is he's dealing with.
That it's not just a petty criminal that he can simply throw in jail, that is something beyond the authority his police badge could ever give him. The guy needs to stop playing the big damn hero, sit down and chill. Yeah, Raz. My breathing comes in short, shallow drafts by the time I make it back to where I started. Still no sign of him, and I'm beginning to think I'm just wasting my time here. But that is when I hear it. I'd recognize the melody in a heartbeat. Ma's favorite song. I listen for a while, trying to gauge exactly where the house is coming from. My feet start moving before I can stop them. And there, as I circle a corner, from a room in the first floor, a single window is open, but I can't make out whoever's inside. However, I'm sure the singing comes from there. Still, while I hear an old tune here of all places I won't know. It's not an obscure song by all means, but it's pretty rare to find someone who knows this. And for some reason, death seems to follow this song around. Panic lodges itself at the base of my throat at once. Whoever's humming might be. I don't want to be the pessimist now, but on the off chance that it is Mr. Right,
Shit.
I shouldn't just barge in there. I can put myself in danger before I can save anyone. Ash will tell me so in the exact same words. Might even write me a dissertation on why it's a bad idea if he ain't so lazy. But damn it, damn it, damn it, god damn it! Someone could be in danger. Oh, brother, I'm going in. I can search for Ash. What if it's too late by then? With how big this place is, he can be anywhere, and it's very likely by the time we come back, someone's already bit the dust. That, and the cries grow louder against my ear the longer I linger. Almost impossible to ignore, drawing me in like a moth to a flame. For a moment, I let myself shudder, shaking the uneasy feeling off my head. This can't be a good idea, not by a long shot. Still, I've got to try. Funnily enough, for a couple of high-profile at the Rights, they don't seem to have any security detail patrolling around. A few guards here and there, sure, but one will expect they'll have more considering the size of the place. Works to my advantage, though. You really can't complain when there's a high chance I might get arrested for what I'm about to do. Luckily, the window's wide enough for me to fit through without making any noise. There's certainly no going back now. But as soon as I step into the parlor, all of it ceases, while I find no trace of the woman I heard crying like I'm expecting to. The room is still as empty at this time of the morning, and I'm left standing awkwardly in the middle of the hush. Maybe she just hid somewhere?
Hello? Are you here? I heard someone earlier, and I'm here to help.
Hoping for an answer, I let the question hang in the air. But several seconds merely go by without a word or the slightest movement to indicate there is someone in here. Has been here. The stories I've heard, the things I've seen, it takes effort to keep my brain from going into that line of thought.
I'm not going to hurt you. If you're here, say something.
Nothing. Am I just hearing things? No, I'm pretty sure I heard someone. With no one responding, I can't help but feel silly like this. And the awareness that I've just trespassed into a house for nothing because of some voice prickles at me. Suddenly, the silence feels uncomfortable, and a needling anxiety slowly creeps up my back. I should get out while I can. If it ain't there, it ain't there. I don't spare the room another glance when I walk back the way I came. Out in the window, leave before someone else notices.
I thought I heard a servant moving around here. Turns out it's just a rat scurrying about. How unpleasant.
My heart shoots up into my throat. I can run. The window is a few steps away. I should be able to escape. but instead, out of some foolish impulse, I turn around. Perhaps it's because the only impression the guy has left me, what few times we met, is nothing but unsettling.
This ain't what you think it is.
You're quite the distance from the kitchen, I'm afraid. Perhaps I should lead you there.
Someone's in here before me. I wasn't here for what you're thinking. There was sobbing and...
First blow knocks the wind out of me, sending me heaving and crumpling to my knees. Tears well up in my eyes as the pain swells when he twists my wrist behind my back.
You've gotta listen to me.
Then again, dirty thieves aren't welcome in my kitchen either.
For a moment, there was only silence and a sudden piercing ache, this time at the back of my head. The room abruptly tilts on its axis, dimming. On the verge of unconsciousness, I can only hear the scuffling of foot, the thud of the door being closed, and... a woman. Crying. Asking for help. I know no more. I might have made a mistake. The pain is the worst when I come to. A sharp, piercing ache somewhere at the back of my head, begging to be noticed. But it's nothing I can't handle. Blearily, I open my eyes, expecting to be greeted by sunlight. However, the walls that welcome me are unfamiliar. When everything comes into focus, I recognize the place for what it is. A cell. Dark, cramped, with only the light coming from the moon outside, streaming through the sole window barred by thick metal bars. Memory rushes back to me in sharp bursts. The mansion, looking for Ashton, a familiar tune, and a woman crying. All my head still aches from the hit I've received.
Still better than a morgue, I guess.
Gingerly, I pull myself up, stretching for the cramps from my shoulders as I do so, but stopping when a sudden movement induces an acute stinging pain right through my arm.
Damn, they got me good. What time is it?
As expected, they've taken everything I have on my person. Wallet, cell phone, keys, meds, even a small pack of gum. Protocol is protocol. In the first place, ending back in another cell ain't in my agenda. First time was not a pleasant experience, and this certainly won't be either. Considering who has likely put me in here, it could be much worse. The bars are cold to my touch when I approach it, looking for the person on duty. It usually allows us to contact someone, and Ashton at least has to know I'm here. He'll be pissed, that I'm quite sure of, but he's the only one who can help prove my innocence and get me out. However, much I don't want to rely on for him. The hallway in front of my cell is empty, but voices float through from further in, likely the poor officers assigned to late-night duty. Judging from the snippets of the conversation I catch, today's topic over a snack is that moron who thought it's wise to cross the rights. They used other names too, most of which I'd like to have words with about in the future. But really, I'm in no position right now.
Excuse me. Anyone?
Silence.
Excuse me. I need to make a...
Blood freezes in my veins, and my grip on the bar tightens. I don't dare turn, because more than the haunting melody, I'm afraid of what I'll see, of who's singing Ma's lovely lullaby. A death song. That's what it is now. But I guess that is what it has always been. If this is the end's calling, I prefer that it is not her vicious smile that I see last.
Oh, Zach, sweetie. Don't you love this song?
My head snaps up in surprise, and I swivel to see Miss Wright of all people, sitting on the cot. Her smile is easy and as sweet as ever.
Miss Wright, what are you... how did you...
I jostle the cell door to check. A prison break is the last thing on my mind, of course, but her presence here begs for a lot of puzzling questions to be answered. Locked tight. Is it just too groggy earlier that I didn't notice her?
Don't be surprised, darling. Money and power can get you anything.
She has a point. Out of all people, she knows more than anyone how to play that game in the world. Yet to hear it straight out of her, it's like talking to a different person. I don't bring this up, however. Perhaps she's just having a bad day or a tiff with her husband. After the incident the other day at the party, well, I don't like gossip, but it won't be surprising. Anyone could say the strangest things when in a bad mood. Still, in all...
You ain't supposed to be here, Miss Wright.
Why ever not? Isn't it comfortable here?
Well, it is, kind of. But you're still not supposed to be on this side of the cell. Besides, it's too early. Or too late for a visit. This is beyond the scheduled hours.
Oh, I'm sure Chief Inspector Lee wouldn't mind a little chat between friends. Besides, his prison officers just snoring in the break room.
She brushes off a lock of hair from her shoulders, stands up, and meanders around the length of the cell, for whatever space it will allow. As if it was just a simple stroll in the park, making a show of checking every scratch that the past occupants of the room had left on its walls. Nevertheless, I tried to make myself small against the corner. Any closer and we'll be crossing each other's personal spaces. She does not look the same, right? I mean, I guess it's just because she's like ghost lady, but frankly, that's more than I'm comfortable with.
Be that as it may, they have cameras here too. How are you going to explain that when they check?
That doesn't matter, dear.
It does. Your popularity ain't going to give you any kind of immunity from the law. I appreciate the visit, but I'd rather not see you get into trouble.
Makes her stop. But just as I'm starting to think I finally reasoned with her.
You don't want to get out of here.
Of course I do. But you don't have to do anything. It's my fault. I'll find a way out of this mess.
You did bring it to yourself.
This really is just a misunderstanding, Hana. I didn't mean to trespass. If you'll just listen to the whole story, you'll know I didn't mean to do it.
I'm really disappointed in you.
I looked straight at her, at the sudden change of her tone, checking for any signs if I've upset her with what I did. Of course she would be. She has every right to be. After all that talk, the little attempts to build a friendship here, I went and broke into another person's house. Her home. On so many levels, beyond any kind of friendship, it's still wrong. Her anger doesn't come as I'm expecting it to, however. Instead, she smiles. A horrid little smile I don't think I'd ever seen from her.
Breaking into our home. Disturbing my love in his sleep. You've upset my Prince Zack. You've really upset him.
Hana?
Panic swells in me, rippling up my spine. Irrational, I know. You shouldn't feel this way about anyone, you know. But here I am, backing away, trying to keep an ample distance between us. I'm afraid, wholly afraid of her. This ain't Hannah. The bars rattle as soon as my shoulder hits it. A hindrance, not to freedom, but to safety.
Has anyone ever told you how beautiful those eyes of yours are?
My Nana? Occasionally my sister. Hana? You alright?
She laughs, a deranged little thing coming from her. There's no cheer in it, no warmth, only spite.
Makes me want to take them home, wrap them in those pretty ribbons I have in my vanity. I'm pretty sure my prince would love it, don't you think, Zachary? A little gift from me.
Stay away from me!
She moves, in short, sudden, bone-crushing twitches that are too painful for me to watch. I want to look away, but I can't. I'm screaming for help before I know it, jolting the bars with as much force as it could.
Somebody! Get me out of here! Anyone, please!
Bugger off! Some people are trying to get some sleep here!
No! She's here! You've gotta let me out! She's gonna kill me! Someone! She's...
Oh, you poor thing. Don't you worry. You won't even feel the pain.
Ah!
I've unlocked a memory fragment. Okay. Well, Zach, yeah, I'm sure he's fine. He's fine. It's typical British prison. I guess we'll see what's going on with Marianne when we come back. She's got some fucking, like, serious EGL shit going on. Anyway, see ya.